So it's time for another gardening week, and my biggest issue by far at the moment is I don't have very many salad onions, and so I've taken this strip of lettuce out here and I'm going to fill this bed with salad onions in the strip and also interplanted between the lettuces, and hopefully that's going to work for me to bring some of my early salad onions on. Kind of fortunately as well, I decided to only plant them sort of about 4 seeds to a module as well, rather than my normal sort of 6 to 8 seeds, and that's going to mean they're going to grow obviously faster too. So I think I might be okay. I think I've acted quickly enough. So this first tray is stir on. It's a bulbing onion, so I could leave them and grow them on, but this bed is needed in towards the end of late May, I suppose, for my carrots, winter carrots. So yeah, you're going to have to be out by then, but I think that's going to be fine. As I say, I think, I'm short of onions, so I'll definitely be harvesting these when they're young plants. And then I'm doing the same thing in this lettuce bed. I've got peas at the back here though, so I'm only going to take them up to this row here because the peas tend to sort of fall forwards. The lilia in this tray have grown quite nicely, but the North Holland blood red germination wasn't quite as good. But that just means the North Holland blood red will come ready first, so it's not a total disaster. So I'm back in the polytunnel and I keep on taking lettuces out every week, and I keep on popping lettuces back in their place every week, and yeah, it's working out pretty well so far. They're looking pretty good, all the replacements, much stronger than the lettuces that are coming out. And I think it's going to work out quite nicely. I think I'll be able to leave a lot of these in to grow to nice big heads, and because I don't have many slugs in the polytunnel, that works out better than it does in the outdoor beds. So this is the salad onion bed that I've just finished harvesting, and there's a few plants left in it, but they're not worth keeping, so I'm just going to dig all those out, get this levelled and cleaned up and reconditioned, and get this planted with brassicas, and I'll probably interplant it with radish as well. So in here going to be my 4th succession so in the ground so far this year of calabrese and cauliflower. So these won't be ready until June, but that's fine, as I say, because I've got plenty of other earlier successions. So these are the calabrese that are going in. I'm only putting 5 of these in, but looking pretty good. And these are the cauliflowers, not looking quite so good, but I think they'll be okay. So the calabrese are all marathons, and yeah, that one is not going to survive. But these look better. Yeah, a bit root bound, but yeah, that'll be okay. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. I think it's a good use of this bed. I was originally going to put kale in this bed, but I decided that I'm going to put kale in containers at home because, you know, kale's going to do better in a container than cauliflowers and calabrese. I just don't have enough space. And because these are planted quite sparsely, I can kind of keep an eye on them better, look out for slug issues and things. I buried the radish really deep because I do find that also reduces slug and woodlice problems. I think once you get damage to a radish by slugs, the woodlice seem to move in, but I'm not sure that woodlice are the originators of an attack. They're just opportunistic, although I've got no absolute evidence to prove that's the case. That's just my impression. So I just took the Brussels sprouts out of this bed this morning, and so now I just want to get it mulched and get some shallots in here. The shallots are looking pretty good, so I'm quite excited to get them planted. I know a lot of people start their shallots in autumn. I don't like to do that. I like to do mine in February, and yeah, as you'll see in a minute, they grow on really nicely. I think it's just a little bit less risk of them going to seed if you do that, but I mean, you might be wrong. I can't say I'm that experienced really with growing shallots, so take that advice with a pinch of salt, see what the results are like. So this, as you can see, this bed's quite low. It's a fairly new bed, and you get a lot of shrinkage on a new bed. Anyway, I'm just going to give it a little bit of blood, fish and bone like I always do for alliums. I usually like to compost with my hands, but unfortunately I can't get to the other side of this bed, so I can't reach because it's flooded. So I'm going to have to resort to my trusty rubber rake, which I really love. I've had this rake, oh well, probably getting on for 20, 25 years, something like that. Absolutely fantastic. My grandma used to have exactly the same model. She was a keen gardener, and that must have been like 50 years ago or something like that. So I don't actually have the same rake. I bought a new one, but I always think of her when I'm using it. So I've got some Golden Globe. Nearly all of these are germinated now. I think this one's just about to come up, but I've got more than enough. And these are the Red Sun. Again, looking pretty good. I'm going to do the Golden Globe first. We'll see how they come out of these modules. They're quite a lot of roots. Yeah. But yeah, they're going in alright, I think. Let's just get a close up of this, I think. Yeah, you can see huge number of roots. So yeah, let's just open up this hole a bit, drop them right in, and then close it up after them, and hopefully all those roots are nicely buried then. Don't they look beautiful, shallots? Absolutely stunning. I love them. You know, I'd grow them just for the decorative nature of them, I think. They just look so pretty. I'm very happy with these. I've got a couple of spares just in case some of these like those don't take, but they've got good roots on them, so I'm sure they will. So now I'm just prepping this bed where the leeks were. So these were the autumn leeks, and I finished these a while back obviously, but I don't have anything I could plant in here. This is going to be Brussels sprouts next year, so I can get a good number in here, and I need to start them fairly early though, because here, growing along here, are going to be my squash plants, and so they do take a bit of light out. So I'll be starting my Brussels sprouts next week, sort of middle of March time, and I'll be planting them out in early May, maybe sort of around the 10th of May, ideally. That's what normally happens. And so I'm kind of wondering what I can use this bed for, and I think I can put salad onions all around the outside and still, you know, get them to maturity by the time I get my Brussels sprouts in. I think I get 8 Brussels sprout plants in there probably. So that'll be nice. So I just need to get this bed prepped. So I've just put bloodfish and bone down around the outside because I'll be using a brassica fertiliser later on. I don't want to mix the two up too much. And I do like to see the bed prepped and ready for planting. Not quite as much as I like to see it planted, but it's always nice to get ahead in early spring. And I probably wouldn't have bothered to do this were it not for planting the salad onions, but obviously they'll still be growing when the Brussels sprouts go in, so I won't have a chance to prepare this bed again in between plantings. And I've just clipped a bit of fleece over this shallot bed, just give them a little bit of protection for the first few weeks. So the low tunnel that I put over those new Calabrese and cauliflowers came from this bed here, and I've just put this little mesh cover over it. Let's just take that off and have a look. Oh yeah, this bed's looking really lovely. Could do with a bit of a water now actually, it's quite dry. And yeah, I've got early red cabbages here, an early cauliflower there, and my early Brussels sprouts for a harvest in summer of leaves and Brussels sprouts, of course, and the sprout tops. So they're all looking lovely. Because they're being protected though by that low tunnel, I'm just going to pop a bit of fleece over them just while they adjust. Obviously it's lovely and sunny at the moment, but it's still cold at night. It's probably going to be below freezing tonight as well. So these Brussels were started back in September, and so were those red cabbages. There's not many varieties of Brussels. I use fill basket that don't go to seed in spring when started in autumn. But so far, I've done this for 4 or 5 years, fill basket has been unique really, in that not many of the plants at least go to seed, and you just get this amazing harvest of really massive Brussels sprouts in summer. They're super tender and lovely, and sprout tops as well. And then here, these red cabbages were started in September, the same time as the ones under here, but I'm kind of holding these back in the hope that these come first and we get a nice kind of succession of red cabbages all the way through summer. and then obviously the ones that I'm sowing next month will be ready in autumn and winter. So yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. These with Envirotex, and I'm just using the netted cover to hold it down. I love this Envirotex, it's really great. It's woven, it's really coarse, it's really tough, lasts all the way through winter, no problem. I've been using it for years and years and years, and not throwing any of it away yet. Not quite as good frost protection as a true sort of horticultural fleece, but still a few degrees. Kind of pull it through at the back there as well, and that just sort of traps it in and holds it down. And then the last little job for my gardening week, I've just put some more strings in for these peas, and I'm kind of trying to direct them up this way because they're going to eventually be supported on these posts here, so I get more growing space in this bed. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. They're a little bit behind the ones in the greenhouse, and that's no bad thing because obviously then they'll come in succession. But yeah, that's me done for the week, and there's no harvest this week because we're away on holiday, and I'll be harvesting early next week when we got back. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.